This girl is like, well, at the time she was 19 going on 54. I mean, she's like ice cool, and she was born to do this. You know?
Now I saw another quote. Tell me if this is just Hollywood hyperbole or is this? But then you said she's this generation's Meryl Streep. Can you elaborate on that?
I got to be honest with you. I think what I meant by that was that I think that Meryl Streep for me is an actor, a proper actor, And I think Lawrence is a proper actor, and I think the only thing that's going to stop her is herself. I mean, I think if she wanted to, she could get an English accent down tapped, like Meryl Streep could. I think she can go ugly like Meryl can. I think she can go beautiful like Meryl can as well. Do you know what I mean? I honestly I mean that. I really mean that. I think she has that kind of ability to go from mainstream to kind of art house, right across the board. There's very few young actresses that can do that. I think she has the ability to be still working in the 50s, which I think a lot of female actors don't, I think they there's a time when they can't get work anymore and they go to TV, whatever it might be. I do. I think she has. There's no one else. I don't think personally. I think the closest person to her probably is Rooney Mara, who's in Golden Dragon Tattoo, who I think has that same kind of drive and that focus and that ability to become the chameleon. I think she's immense. I think she's fucking brilliant. I think she's more the Daniel Day-Lewis kind of bracket. You know what I mean? That kind of intensity. So I suspect. But if I'm honest, I think she's. Remember Jessica Lange? Do you remember Jessica Lange?
Yeah, sure.
I remember when Jessica Lange was nominated for an Academy. Jessica Lange, the time when Jessica Lange was like she
Frances,
was,
I think.
Yeah. She was amazing, and and I always likened Lawrence to Jessica Lange, but Jessica Lange burnt out, and it didn't quite happen for her. So I never used Jessica Lange as an example because, in my mind, Jessica Lange never quite got to where I think she should have got to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that would be the first comparison. But I think in terms of straight acting ability, I think this girl absolutely hands down. I have no problem standing by that quote. I think hands down. I promise you. I mean, that's why I was intrigued to know what you thought of the Silver Linings Playbook. But if you look at that girl and you look at what she's done, Winter's Bone, my film, X-Men, Hunger Games, Silver Linings Playbook, Serena. Do you know what I mean? Look at the choices she's making.
Yeah, and she could slip into the incidental character, or she could be the star.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you put a great star in incidental. It's like, no, this woman's taken over the scene.
Right.
It's not working. But she seems to have that sort of.
I think so. Do you agree or do you not agree?
No, I do. I do. No, I see what you're saying. Who knows how things can go in the next 10 years? But I can see. And also, when you look at that generation, I mean, you mentioned Rooney Mara. I can't think of anyone else.
That's my point. And I can't think. It's all about your choices, And I think she's making good choices at the moment, or whoever it is making choices with her. But she's making good choices. She's making smart choices. And I think she's smart. I mean, at the same time she's doing, Oscar bait stuff like Silver Linings Playbook. She's also going, okay, I have to build my audience, so I have to do films like this and Hunger Games. So, it's going to be about her choices, I think. And I think, very much like what DiCaprio did. I think DiCaprio was smart, because I think DiCaprio almost went, well, I'm not going to follow the material, I'm going to follow the guy behind the material. So I'm going to work with you, I mean, another great example, I think, is Natalie Portman. I think she's, but I'm going to work with this guy, I'm going to work with this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow the talent,
Yeah.
And I think he's been smart about it. And I think he's got better as an actor because of it, I think he's
well, it's funny because it's true. We often ask actors, we look for a script, and they come back and they're like, "It's who's making the movie." Right. I mean, the script could be great, and who knows what kind of movie it's going to make. But if you're working with the right guy, really quickly, let me finish this. Oh, what kind of changes? You got Jonathan Mosto's original script, and evidently you reworked it to some degree.
Yeah.
To what degree did you, and how important was your 100-page Bible? One, in communicating with yourself on where this picture was going, and then the people around you, your cast and crew.
So
the two parts: getting Mosto's script, and what kind of evolutions did that happen, and then how instrumental was your own research in that book?
I mean, I think getting Mosto's script was interesting because I think there was some interesting kind of like debates or interesting kind of things that I think it was raising, but either wasn't following through or wasn't quite there. So it wasn't quite realised as a screenplay, which is kind of how a lot of scripts are before directors come on board. Frankly, they need that kind of They need that kind of eye to kind of either take it forward, whatever it might be. Not like I'm a genius or anything, but that's what my job is. And that's what it was. And I remember sending it to some of my people that I always work with, my DP and my composer, and they didn't want me to do it. They didn't want me to pitch on it because they thought it was a really wrong call. They were like, this could be a disastrous movie, and it could not work. Why not work for you? And I was like, no. I was adamant there was something there. I was adamant there was some kind of some sort of like embryonic idea there that I thought was strong, and I couldn't quite work out what it was for a couple of weeks, and then I kind of got it, And I thought, shit, okay, that's good. And when I realised it was about our parents' love and how it can help us or hinder us become the people that we are, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I think if you can try and find an umbilical cord between yourself and the work, in theme, I think you're away, especially between yourself and what's happening in your real life, right? So at the time I was becoming a dad. So I was like, okay, I can talk about this. It's something that I really want to talk about, I can really talk about this, and I want to talk about it, and I want to kind of get into a discourse with it, because that's what you're doing, right? When you're making a film, I think you're getting into dialogue with the audience. So I was like, okay, I can get into dialogue with this, but because of what's happening with me, I can go one step further. I can make it personal. And I think once you've got something like that, you've got something that's personal, and you've got something that matters, right? It suddenly becomes something else, it's the thing that drives you, the thing, over tears that makes you get out of bed. It's a thing that just kind of keeps you going, and that's what I try and do with everything that I attach myself to. Somehow I try and find out, what it is about that story that's happening in my life at that moment, or something that I'm dealing with. Like I've just finished this script called Terror of Living, and it's a western. But it's a western not because people wear cowboy hats. It's not even set like in the south. It's set like in the northwest. But it's a western for me because it's about a frontier falling, and it's about, and that's what I think most good westerns are about. This one's about a western, the frontier falling of American decency, And I can talk about this because I've come here, and I'm an immigrant, and and it was best articulated in that film In the Newsroom, where someone said, what's great about America, and Will McAvoy says, it isn't great, it used to be great, and he kind of goes through these facts, and it's quite interesting to me because coming over here from England and seeing the American culture from now a position of being inside it, I can see the cracks, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about this kind of what I believe what was happening in the kind of disintegration of the American dream, and this kind of decline of this frontier, this idea that as a nation now it's more divided than it was in the Civil War. This for me really interests me, and I was like, I want to write this film because they're the issues that I want to talk about, and they're very personal to me, because I wanted to ask, do people still do things in America for each other out of the pure decency of their own heart, or do they do it because they want a buck? Do they do it because it's all about money? Is that what governs the American soul? Capitalism, right? Question mark. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to talk about. And that's, I think, once you can do that, and you can find those questions in the work, then and I'm not saying I've got the answer to it, right? I'm not saying I've got the answer to it. I'm just saying that's what the debate is about, and that's what you try and do. And that's what I try and do with all of my films.
That sounds fascinating. As opposed to